Good morning. We are just getting started. Welcome. As you're arriving in, if you have some incense, or maybe you've got some essential oils, we can choose to light your incense, rub some oils on. This creates a beautiful anchor for today's session. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. So nice to have you here. Welcome, Francesca. Pauline, beautiful. Letting everyone come in. Yes, we are recording. Always need to make sure that we're recording. Okay, I'm just going to put this on my altar. Beautiful. So nice to have you all here with me this Sunday morning. So lovely. I'm in my little caravan here. Sit well, my beautiful vanilla oil on, perfume from India. Here. Okay. I'm going to hit pause and welcome you into this space. We are today having a sneak peek into the Marigold membership that I run, and I know that a lot of you have been asking to see what it's like on the inside. What's it really like? Is it actually going to help me feel better? Like, what is it all about, Ayurveda? How, does that make everything different and everything better? And yoga? Well, it does, absolutely. So I decided to keep the doors open for a little bit longer. I was meant to close the doors last week. We've welcomed some beautiful new members in, and then I had lots of questions. So I thought I'll keep it open for a couple more days and bring you on inside. So the session that we're going to go through today is the first session that we did in Marigold this month in March. So this session is an example of something that you will get inside Marigold. It is a beautiful session laying the foundations of what the hell's going on in our perimenopause, why we're putting weight on, how can we start to shift this, how can we start to feel better and move through it. Now, this is something that I've experienced personally. And we're going to dive into this. So I'm sharing with you everything that I'm doing. And, this is more about, the why, why this is happening. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. And then this lays the foundation for the rest of the work that we're doing in March and then in April in the Marigold membership. So before we get started, I'm going to invite you to just close down your eyes if you're in a space where you feel comfortable to. And start to focus on your breath coming in through your nose. We're going to start with a short grounding practice and some acknowledgements. So finding a comfortable seat, feeling the earth beneath your feet and your buttocks. Just gently focusing on your breath coming in through your nose. Out through your nose, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Find yourself in 10% more comfort. First, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land where I live, work and play, which is the Warramai people here in the mid-north coast of New South Wales. You might like to do the same for where you are. I would also like to acknowledge the golden thread of teachers, particularly in the yoga and Ayurvedic traditions, because it's not without these teachers teaching us, being able to sit at their feet to embody these practices. This is all just information we can find on ChatGPT or Google, but nothing replaces the juiciness and the wisdom that we receive when we sit at the feet of our teachers. I would like to pay them reverence and respect, the teachers that have come before me, particularly in women's health and women's wellness in the Ayurvedic traditions. I'd also like to acknowledge my red thread. You might like to do the same. The red thread is your mother, your grandmother, the women in your lineage, the nurturers, the healers, women, your ancestral line that have come before you. I'd also like to acknowledge our children, because it is for them that we are now doing the work. We are now putting a line in the sand and we are saying no more darkness, no more mystery around that is women's mysteries, perimenopause, menopause, even right back to our first menarche and the whole path and journey that we travel on our way to womanhood. All those rites of passages, they're to be celebrated, to be uncovered, and to be educated. And we need to just thank ourselves for that, because we're here doing the work for them. I'd like to place a hand or two hands over your heart. Take a big, deep breath in and let it all go. And when you're ready, I'd like you to open your eyes and come back to the room. And if you've got a journal or a notebook there, I would love for you to take a moment now to just sit in reflection before we get started in that beautiful grounded space where you are now. What does balance in this season of life for you mean? Okay. What is a calling for your attention in your body right now? And what would it feel like to trust yourself, trust your body's wisdom, rather than resist it? And I'm going to drop these in the chat for you now so you can see. And just take a moment. I'm going to pop a little bit of music on, my favorite mantra music, which I will share in the chat as well. A moment, just reflect on your action right now. What it would feel like to trust your body. Beautiful. Now, if you feel called to, and you do not have to do this, but if you would like, you can pop your reflections, I forgot the word, your reflections in the chat. And if you're watching the recording, you can drop these in the comments, or you can send me a DM and share them with me over DM, because I would love to hear what your reflections are. Okay, let's dive in. So let's take a look at estrogen decline. So to get started, we want to look, at what's actually going on here. So a natural transition, it's not a problem to fix. Okay, so there's a lot going on in our bodies in perimenopause. One of the big topics now, and this hot topic now at the moment, is that our estrogen's declining and we need to fix it, and we need to grab more estrogen and we need to hold on to it. So the world's telling us that there's a big problem here and that we need to be fixed. We're being bombarded with messages that something's wrong, that we're losing our youth, that our energy, our stability is under, we're losing all these things. But what if we flipped that script? And that's what I'm here to do. This is my mission. I feel like in my meditation this morning, I really had a beautiful download from Source saying that this is your mission, to be able to support it, to be supporting and helping women find a different way and really move away from this over medicalized women's health that we have at the moment. Okay, so what's really going on? Let's have a look at what's really going on in your body. So your estrogen's actually shifting. It's not disappearing. Your body's recalibrating. It's moving from a reproductive focus to a deeper, more intuitive phase. Okay. I'm reading I've read this book, but I'm also reading it again. I listen to it quite often in the car as an audio book. And it's and I'm going to drop it in the chat here as well, because it is a great book. Let me just bring it up. Menopause. The Wisdom of Menopause. So this book is a fantastic book by a doctor in America, and she has been at the forefront for a long time, really unmedicalizing menopause, excuse me, and perimenopause. Now, this was recommended to me by one of my teachers, and it's fantastic. So I'm going to share that link there on Amazon, and you can grab yourself a copy, whether it's the audiobook or the hard copy. I highly recommend it. It's fabulous. Anyway, so she is, let me bring my notes up because I will go on a tangent. So she talks a lot in the beginning of the book how it's this really beautiful time to go within and to come home to yourself. Okay, so this is what we're talking about: a deeper focus, a more intuitive phase. It's a season where we can actually look into, it's like past hurts and traumas are going to come up, and we're going to need to face them head on. And it's a great opportunity where we can actually look at these and we can start to heal, and heal at a deeper, beautiful level. She also talks about how this is a really beautiful time to, and I just forgot my train of thought there, perimenopause brain. There you go. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So this is a wonderful time because by identifying these fears, these hurts, these things that we haven't dealt with, these relationship issues and all of those sorts of things, we're actually going to help our experience of menopause be so much better, because what happens is we manifest and we store these emotions in our body, and this is what's causing our symptoms or signs. We really want to talk about these symptoms as signs rather than symptoms and there's something to fix, but they're signs that our body needs something. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit more about that, and there's signs that there's some healing that needs to be done, that we need to sort of focus on. So it's really quite great. So that's being a more intuitive phase. So now the Ayurvedic perspective on perimenopause is we transition from Pitta, which is in Ayurveda, we have what we call the 3 dosha. And if you don't know what I'm talking about the dosha, there's a dosha quiz on my website that you can go and do if you haven't done that already. But it is how we look at our mind-body type. So it's our own unique constitution. And it helps us to understand why we are how we are, why we're experiencing that illness, why we're experiencing that discomfort. And what we can do to bring things back into balance. So we're always working towards balancing the dosha so we can live an optimal life full of vitality. And it's the same in perimenopause. So nothing changes, but we move into a different season. And we also look in Ayurveda at the seasons as a Pitta, Vata, Kapha. So we've got different seasons of our life. And when we're in our 20s and 30s, it's our Pitta season. Now, Pitta is fire, drive, ambition. It's a time where we're working a lot, where we're raising young children, where we're building wealth, where we're building up, stepping up the ladder in our careers, where we're we've got this, real drive and we're achieving and we're moving towards something, okay? We're now transitioning into our Vata time of life, which is air, lightness, movement. So it's also known for wisdom, intuition, and lightness. So this is a time where we're moving from this busy Pitta time into a more wise woman era, basically. So this shift is meant to be a liberation, okay, and not depletion. So how we've lived our life, though, in our 20s and 30s, if we've been living our life on the whiff of an oily rag, so we're barely eating things, we're counting calories, we're not nourishing our body, we're working. Like, for example, with me, I was working in my 20s and 30s, 70 hours a week, and going out and drinking and partying and late nights and lots of travel overseas and, all the different things, which is what we do in our 20s and 30s. And my constitution is predominantly Pitta. So I have experienced, when I started to experience perimenopause, it hit me like a freight train. All of a sudden, I had osteoarthritis, I had anxiety, I felt burnt out, I felt completely depleted because I hadn't been nourishing myself well enough in those earlier years. So now I am experiencing it in a different way because I've really put the brakes on, and I'm like, okay, so I really need to slow down. I need to take pause. I need to recalibrate. Okay. And we need to really, this is where the nervous system connection happens, where regulating our stress is the most important thing that can ever do in this phase. So, for the last couple of years, I've really been working on how I manage my stress, and life is always going to be stressful. There's always going to be stuff happening. There's always going to be change, which causes stress. Um, that's really normal, okay? And that's really normal, but it's how we manage it and how we regulate it that will make a really big difference, okay? So, I'm going to talk more about that. Now, why is your body changing and how to support it? So we feel frustrated because we've suddenly put on weight, and I am there. My energy fluctuations. There was a time where I had to have a nap at 2 o'clock every afternoon. There's shifts in my metabolism happening. My muscle mass is dropped. But what if we, instead of seeing all of these things as problems, what if we reframe them as your body is adapting to sustain you? Okay, so let's look at weight shifting and weight gain. So estrogen actually has a protective role in the body. So when it declines, the body naturally holds onto more fat to maintain hormonal balance. Okay, so this isn't a flaw, it's an adaptation. It's an adaptation to keep us safe. So fat cells actually produce small amounts of estrogen, and there's a couple of different types of estrogen in the body. And what we need here is estradiol, but we are holding on to this estrogen in and around, and this fat storage in and around. So it is here to actually give us support. But we do need to still manage it so it doesn't become an excess. Okay, so a little bit of weight gain in women is normal, but it's how we're managing, and we're going to talk a little bit more about movement and all of that as well. So instead of fighting against this, we're going to now learn how to support our metabolism and our digestion with Ayurvedic nutrition. So it's really where this supporting our Agni, our digestive fire, the Ayurvedic way, can really start to come into play in this season of perimenopause. Okay, so remembering weight gain is natural, and it's an intelligent response from the body. Our body is so smart. It is so very smart. It's an intelligent response from the body as it adapts to these hormonal shifts. So instead of seeing it as something going wrong, Ayurveda and holistic health view this as a signal. Okay, there's that word again. It's not a symptom, it's a signal that your body is asking for some deeper nourishment, stability, and care. Okay, so let's look at what's happening. Let's go a little bit deeper here. So estrogen decline and fat redistribution. Okay, so estrogen naturally declines in perimenopause, which affects our metabolism and our insulin sensitivity and where we store our fat. Okay, so you're like we did, if you have had children in childbirth, our body change, the shape of our body changes throughout these. When we first got our first men up, our bodies change, our shapes of our bodies change. We start to grow breasts and hips, and then we shift again when we get a little bit older, and now we're in perimenopause and stuff's happening again. So women are cyclic beings. We are always changing and we're always moving. Our hormones are always on the move and always doing different things in order to keep us healthy and happy. Okay, so the body will often shift the weight to the abdomen, the hips, and the thighs. And this is to help produce the hormones. So this offers a protective cushioning for our nervous system and our bones. Okay, so this is where the cortisol and stress response. So with hormonal changes, stress resilience can decrease. So as we enter into perimenopause, you probably experience this where your stress resilience, like things that you could cope with in the past, you just can't cope with anymore. Okay, and it's really hard because you're like, well, I used to like take that in my stride, and now it's just like the worst fucking thing ever. And I just can't cope, and I'm having meltdowns like I would when I was a toddler. And that's where we're coming. So this is the cortisol. So if this cortisol hormone, the stress hormone, is high in the body, that's when we're storing the fat, especially around this midsection. And this is a built-in survival mechanism, not a malfunction. So the key here is that we really need to start to manage, because it puts us into this whole fight and flight. You know, like we might need to have fat stores in order to survive because they're in these high stress environments. And our world is high stress at the moment. Our life is high stress. So it is really hard. So getting this stress and managing your stress, I can't reiterate enough, is going to be a massive game changer for you. Okay. So muscle mass and metabolization shifts. So from our 40s onwards, we naturally lose muscle mass, which can slow our metabolism. However, strength building and movement like yoga, walking, bodyweight exercises helps to counteract that. So this is a normal decline. It's happening. Our collagen's going, our muscles are going, all of these sorts of things. So we can build this back up by doing strengthening exercises and weights and all these things. So we are definitely going to be going deeper and deeper into how we can do this in one of our later sessions this month. But what I want to talk to you about is just how this can really help. And you see everybody doing it, wearing weighted vests. If you've been, in the perimenopause or seen on Instagram, they're all wearing weighted vests and ankles and wrist weights and doing Pilates with weights and all the different things. So we want to be having a little bit more of that weight bearing stuff happening. And we can do this with just our own body, and we can do it around the home. I'm getting it here on the farm with lifting bags of chicken feed and bags of mulch and soil and all the different things. I lifted yesterday a 50-litre big bag of soil, and it was so heavy, but I was like, you know what? I put my weight in my legs and I really positioned myself and I got it and I focused. And that's the sort of thing. It's like, if you're physical around the home, see what you can do. Move furniture around, help a friend move. If there's some heavy lifting to be done, you do it. So you're constantly keeping that happening naturally in your everyday. Or you can go to a gym if you've got a sedentary job and you work full time. Really making the effort to go to a gym will be really great. And I have a friend that I'm going to be doing some collaboration with, and she's a personal trainer, and she has just some walks. She gets her steps up to 8,000, 10,000 steps a day, and then she has a kettlebell and some hand weights, and that's really all we need. We don't want to be pushing. I'm going to talk a bit more about pushing ourselves too much. There's a balance, okay? There's a balance, and there's a fine line between going too much and increasing your cortisol and then not, okay? So there is definitely a balance. Okay, so looking at our digestive fire, our Agni is weakening in this season of life. So Ayurveda teaches us that we transition, as I said before, into the Vata phase of life. So digestion can become a lot weaker. So this is our digestive fire. We call it Agni in Ayurveda, and this is the very beginning of our health and the end of our health. Okay, it comes full circle to our digestive system. If you've ever worked with a naturopath or herbalist, you'll know this as well, that everything starts in the digestive system. It's really important that we are looking after it, that we're cooking nourishing foods, that we slow down to eat. Okay, so it's a really important thing that we look at really warming, grounding, cooked foods. And we'll talk a little bit more about what they look like in a moment. And this is a really big key. Um, if you're not pooing every morning, okay, if you're not if you've got air in your tummy, if you're experiencing bloating or nauseousness, or you've got some IBS, or you've got a bit of diarrhea, or you're constipated, or whatever it is, it's a really big sign that your agni is very weak and that you need to fix this. Now, in April, we're doing a beautiful Ayurvedic cleanse where we actually get to reset this agni fire, and that's the whole idea of a nourishing Ayurvedic cleanse, is we reset the agni fire. So if you're experiencing lots of issues there, that will be a really amazing opportunity for you to join us in Marigold and come and reset and get things moving again. Okay, we've got lots of nourishing modules in Marigold as well, so lots and lots of beautiful things there that you can that will help you along the path to bringing back your digestive fire. Okay, so this is the body's call for nourishment. Okay, if you're experiencing heightened symptoms, this is where you really need to, before you go to the doctor and get them to put you on HRT and test your hormones and all the things, really see this as a call for nourishment. So rather seeing all your weight gain or your symptoms as something to fight, let's see it as that beautiful message. Okay, slow down, eat more nourishing foods, reduce stress, embrace gentle strengthening movement, so we can really honor this transition instead of resisting it. Okay, the body naturally will find her balance. Okay, so instead of restriction, think nourishment. Instead of pushing harder, think grounding. Your body is wise and she's asking you to listen to her. Okay, she really is. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper into Ayurvedic nourishment for perimenopause. So we're talking about foods that are grounding. This is because that stabilized Vata, and that we want to cool Pitta in this season. So we want to stabilize Vata and cool Pitta. So root vegetables are amazing. Healthy fats like ghee, avocados, sesame oil, warming spices, ginger, cumin, turmeric, okay? Cinnamon is a really great addition if you're experiencing issues with your insulin levels and your insulin resistance, I should say. So cinnamon will actually help to balance out your blood sugar levels. It's going to help cut with cravings. It's really going to be a lifesaver for a lot of women in perimenopause, because we do experience this insulin resistance. So they lead to your sugar cravings, your energy crashes. I experienced one the other day when I ate some chocolate and I was just like, why did I do that? It was so good. And I just was a bad eating day. And I just was like so exhausted in the afternoon. So you really will notice that you'll get hit by a freight train. So if you're feeling exhausted in the afternoon, it's a sign that you've probably got some insulin resistance there. So this is what I would recommend, that you really try and curb your sugar cravings and limit your sugar intake from the beginning, when you get up in the morning to the end of the day, and add some cinnamon to some warm water in the morning, which is what we talk about with the hydration rituals. So having a spiced tea to start the morning, the spiced warm water. So boil the kettle, you can have some fennel, coriander, a bit of cinnamon, you could add some lemon, mint. Any of those sorts of beautiful herbs and spices are going to help kickstart your digestion, cool Pitta, ground and stabilize Vata. Okay, so hydration rituals are wonderful, and have them throughout the day. So you'll want to start your your hydration ritual first thing in the morning before you do anything. Have, even if it's just warm water, even if you don't have any spices with you, if you're traveling or whatnot, even just warm water is so beautiful to really get hydrated first thing in the morning. Herbal teas are beautiful as well. So tulsi tea, peppermint tea. You want to really avoid iced drinks because they will dampen the fire. Okay, I think icy cold dampens the fire. And if you're struggling with your digestive, your acne, steer clear of ice drinks. Okay. So then your hydration ritual, you'll have one in the morning, you might have one mid-morning, and then after lunch. So a lovely digestive tea after lunch. It's beautiful. And then one in the evening before you go to bed, another herbal tea. And then there's some beautiful anchor points in your day where you'll know that you're getting hydration, you're supporting your digestive fire, your acne, and it's a really beautiful opportunity for you to just take a moment to sort of slow down and just be mindful, intentional um, with your yeah rituals. Okay. Now, if you've got any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat because there's going to be time at the end for me to come back to any questions. And if you're watching the recording, just shoot me a DM with your question and I will help you and answer that for you. So we did that. So herbs for perimenopause support. So I often say that, well, I always say that herbs are a bit of a last resort. You can probably get a good result and get some changes happening with simple lifestyle shifts and diet first. Now, lifestyle and diet and routine and ritual are Ayurveda's medicine. Okay, once we can get these routines in place, it's going to be medicine for you. And Dr. Christiane talks in her book, The Wisdom of Menopause as well, about how routine is going to be your best friend in menopause. And this is what Ayurveda says. It's going to be your best friend through your whole life. Wake up at the same time, wake up with the sun, have your morning hydration ritual, do your sadhana practice, which is either could be yoga, meditation, go for a walk, like do the same thing every day at the same time, and your body will come back into this beautiful natural balance. Okay, eat very simple foods. Keep your food simple. Our culture tends to like to have Italian one night, Mexican another night, a steak this night. Keep it really simple the majority of the time. And I like to say 70 to 80% of the time, we keep things really simple, we keep into our routine, but we also want to have a bit of joy, a bit of excitement, and change things up that other 20, 30% of the time as well. So you definitely want to have that there. And then I would recommend that you start some of these shifts and give it a good 3 months, okay, before you start to add any supplements or herbs. If you've made lots of good choices and lots of shifts in your day and your lifestyle, and you're ready for a little bit of extra support, and you're finding your hormones still quite aren't there, Shatavari is a beautiful herb, a women's herb that will help balance your hormones. If you're finding you've got really your energy is depletion, you've got adrenal fatigue, which is what can be a knock-on effect into perimenopause, then ashwagandha is going to be a really beautiful friend for you. So ashwagandha will help you sleep. It's going to help you find oxidative stress. It's going to help your nervous system. It's a really beautiful one for that nervous system support and for anybody that's having trouble sleeping. Okay, Brahmi is a great one if you have a lot of brain fog and a lot of that sort of brain sort of stuff going on, memory loss, all of those sorts of things. Brahmi is really wonderful too. So these will be your allies for hormonal balance, nervous system support, and energy restoration. Okay, so always have a look. If you want any questions about that, then let me know. If you're not sure where to go, but get a really good quality one. I've got a few contacts that I can put you in touch with. And the other thing here is if you do start one of these herbs, just start one at a time and then see how that goes, and then add something else and add something else if you still need support in other areas. Just keeping the time. Okay, so rest, movement, and rituals for a sacred balance. So this stage of life, the movement and exercise that worked for us in our 30s may start to actually deplete you rather than energize you. Okay. The same goes for rest. Every woman experiences, many women, I should say, not every woman, but many women experience this disrupted sleep, anxiety, increased sensitivity to stress. So we really need to focus on having a beautiful bedtime routine. I use essential oils as a wonderful support. I drink a beautiful Tulsi sleep tea. So you might need to, if you're struggling with sleep, you might need to come back to how you would treat a child, a young child getting to bed. Set up a beautiful sleep routine, a sleep ritual. So the same thing again, like the hydration ritual, in the evening, and what I was saying before about keeping everything the same and consistent might sound a bit boring, but having this routine, reading a novel before you go to bed instead of scrolling on your phone. Okay, that's a really big shift, a simple shift that can have a massive impact on how you sleep. So going to bed, I'll have a Tulsi tea with some beautiful sleep herbs in it as well. I'll read a book or listen to an audio book. I'll focus on my breath. I'll roll some essential oils. Now, oiling your feet at night, whether it's with sesame oil, coconut oil, olive oil, any sort of oil, is going to be beautifully stabilizing for Vata, which is what kind of disrupts our sleep a bit. So you can put that on your feet and add some lavender essential oil, some vetiver, some marjoram essential oil. They're going to be really beautiful and supportive to help you get to sleep and then help you stay and have that beautiful, deep, resting sleep. Okay. And we've got lots of beautiful meditations in Marigold as well that will help with that. So and let's talk about exercising for a minute. So over exercising can actually be counterproductive. So those like intense CrossFit, classes that we used to do, massive HIIT workouts. Like there's these gyms where my husband has his office, and the gyms are those like it's full on like a nightclub. It's bright lights shining everywhere. It's loud, pumping DJ music, like it's full on. What these are going to do for us women in middle age is it's actually going to spike our cortisol. So it's actually going to lead to more fatigue and more weight gain rather than balance. Okay, so yes, you want to get some good endorphins happening by exercising, but it needs to be the right kind of exercise. Okay, let's look more at strength-based movement for your hormonal health. So this resistance training and yoga that really can focus on bone density, muscle strength, and nervous system support. That's going to serve you so much better in perimenopause and menopause than what doing a really hardcore HIIT intensive cardio workout. And then add 8,000 steps to your day. Get your steps up. You're going to really start to see a shift in this cortisol around the middle. You're going to start to see a shift in your mood. And then adding that weight bearing exercise, you're going to keep that muscle tone and you're going to feel strong. Like you want to feel strong. You don't want to feel depleted. Okay. You want to feel good and strong. Restorative practices to really replenish energy. So you need to balance out the cardio, balance out the weights with some replenishing practices. Okay, so deep rest yoga or restorative yoga. We've got lots of restorative yoga in the Marigold membership that you can jump on into. Yin yoga. We've got beautiful Ayurvedic self massage, which we call Abhyanga. Abhyanga massage is where we cover our body in warm oil. So we warm up the oil, we start from the feet, we move up and we massage our body up. It's a beautiful practice and it will be a lifesaver. It's been a lifesaver for so many women in perimenopause. I do it a few times a week out in nature. We're glamping at the moment on our property. So, I don't have a bathroom. So I get down there where we have our little shower and I give myself a beautiful massage. And considering we're living mostly outside, which is very Vata inducing, I'm managing to really bring myself back and calming my Vata to really help with some good deep sleeps. Okay. And waking up with the sun and going to bed with the sun, is really helpful there too. So inside Marigold, I've got beautiful guest teacher, Louise, who's also one of our members. She's in there and she's a massage therapist. So there's a beautiful session in there from her that actually shows you how to do your own self-massage. It is such a beautiful thing to do for yourself. I can't recommend it enough, okay? So now I'm just going to check in if we got any questions. No, all good. Okay, so that was a lot of information. What I would like to invite you to do now is just take a bit of a breath in, absorbing all that information, and there will be notes applied to the recording of this if you're watching the recording. I'm going to drop some journaling prompts here. You know, we've explored a lot about how our body is shifting in perimenopause. Now, I really want to take a moment after all of that to turn inward and reconnect with our inner wisdom. And I'm going to pop some music on and give you a couple of minutes to do these beautiful journaling prompts and reconnect with our inner wisdom, which is what it is all about. You know, we really need to take this information that we're learning, reconnect with our inner wisdom and our body, and listen to what our signs are and what is she trying to tell us, and how can I really trust that intuition and trust that wisdom that she's trying to share with me, and where is it, what do I need to do, what's a priority for me in this season to do now to really support myself, okay, to nourish myself. So have a look at those prompts we've got. What messages have I absorbed about perimenopause and how do they shape my experience? What would it feel like to trust my body's wisdom rather than resist change? What is one small, powerful shift that I can make to bring balance into my life? Okay, so this is a self-inquiry practice that allows us to move from frustration and fear to empowerment, okay, and control, right? Really, really beautiful. It helps us to take control of our own health and our own life. We puts us back in the driving seat. Okay, we want to release any old narratives, any old patterning that we might have, and really step into this place of self-trust. Okay, really stepping into this place of self-trust is going to be a really massive game changer for you. Okay, I'll pop some music on and you can get journaling. Beautiful. All right. If you feel called to, you can drop it in the chat and just share it with us. We don't have to read it out because I know it can be quite a sensitive topic. Or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram. I love that too, and share it with me there. Now, I promised a run through the Marigold membership to show you inside and what it looks like, and it is beautiful. Let's have a look. So it's going to share my screen with you. First, what I'll show you is now the great thing about this is we also have an app, so you can access any of the teachings, any of the live sessions, any of the resources, all through the app as well. But this is what it looks like on the desktop. Okay, so we've got the Marigold membership here. This is what you'll see when you log in. I've got a little quote there that I love. You would have seen it on social media if you follow me there. Each month, there is a Marigold magazine, which has the schedule and everything in it, which looks a little bit like this. And I'm going to show you this. I'm not sure if you can see this, but let me know if you can't see this. I'm going to stop share that and share. Let me just share my screen again. Okay. So here is the Marigold magazine. You can see we've got the cover there, all the different things that are happening, a little bit of a note from me, a bit of a welcome note, gives you a little bit of an orientation about what's going on for the month. Then we've got any guest teachers. You'll get to meet our beautiful Danny Woolhouse if you join us. She's bringing us Hatha Yoga for the next few months, which will be amazing. She's a beautiful teacher, so passionate, and I love her work. She's also a member of the membership, which is really great. I love to have guest teachers on, especially if you're a member, to share your gifts and your talents. Our March sessions here, so you can see it's got all the sessions, the book that we're reading, and we definitely read novels because I believe that novels are one of the best forms of self-care, and it really helps us to break the cycle of being busy, doing, to take a moment and lay down, have a cup of tea, read a book. It really is a beautiful way to rest and restore. So every couple of months we read a beautiful novel. So that's all the sessions in there, the April sessions, so all in there, so you'll get to see all of that there. So now I'm just going to stop share again. Stop share, and we will bring up the Marigold inside the portal. So all the recordings are saved and shared in the portal, which is this here, which is the course portal. So you get the Zoom link, same Zoom link every month, which makes it really easy. Schedule, you can download that magazine that I just showed you here. Here are the pillars. Okay, so we've got a welcome. Obviously, that's where you start, and that will orientate you around the course portal and then the live community. We've got the membership pillars, the sadhana pillar. That's our conscious spiritual practice. So, inside sadhana, we've got a Woman of Bhakti film. I haven't got much in there at the moment. I need to go through and do some beautiful, sessions on sadhana. That is coming up in May. So we're going to focus on sadhana in May, and we're going to have off the back of our beautiful Ayurvedic cleanse, we're going to have a sadhana month where we're going to look at what it actually is and dive deep into that and how it will support us in perimenopause. Nutrition that nurtures. So this has been a really big topic over the last few months. So we've got lots of information in here on nutrition because that is one of our biggest forms of medicine, and that's been a big focus for the last few months. So we've got, preparing for winter with Ayurveda. We've got some recipes in here. We've got cleansers in here, a spring cleanse and an autumn cleanse that you can do any time of the year. So they're there. We do live cleansers twice a year, but you can always do these and come back to them. So I upload, I've got one spring cleanse there and one Ayurvedic cleanse, and then every live cleanse that we do it in a separate portal because we invite other people in as well. So I just keep those there. Here's the series on trusting wisdom of your body, which is what we did today. We've got, lots of juicy women's Shakti, yoga, meditations. So we've got Ayurveda in the mind, Ayurveda and perimenopause. So lots of beautiful sessions there. We've got lots of yoga and lots of meditations. So here we've got lots of yoga with some more guest teachers. We do some beautiful goddess meditations. We've got yoga flow. We've got some mini courses, excuse me, happy hips yoga. We've got restorative classes, got meditations and yoga nidra. So lots and lots to dive into when you jump in and join us. We've got Shakti, Women Shakti, we've got sacred practices, we've got Heart of the Home. Okay, so then we've got our book club. So lots in there. And the next thing I wanted to show you is the community aspect. So this is where you will find, this is a little bit like a Facebook page, like a Facebook group. So we've got sessions here that you can click to join, and so you get notifications so you don't forget and you never miss a session. Okay, then we've got our feed, which is where I share all the communications and information. I do a little video for you each month, just telling you about the month ahead. Get your magazine there, you get your schedule. I share things like, we've got the book here, little reminders, other insights, what I'm reading, what my podcasts are, and I just posted that one on the weekend, but usually the members will jump in and share with us what they're loving at the moment. So building that sort of beautiful Ayurvedic sharing and community and all the things. So that is what it looks like. And then you'll find live sessions there. So that's a little bit about the community. So these both have apps that you can access, and the apps are great to download on your phone, and you can just listen and learn on the go. Okay, so you can pop it in the car while you're driving. You can jump online and respond to comments or messages. That's a little bit about it. Now, I also want to stop sharing now, and we're going to wrap up the session. So this is your beautiful invitation. I really wanted to just give you a bit of a glimpse of what's inside Marigold. It's a space where we can really go deeper into Ayurveda, self-care, and the wisdom of menopause and perimenopause, with lots of live teachings, lots of seasonal practices, and a really supportive community of women. We've got women in there that are at the beginning, right in the thick of it, and then we've also got women post. So if you join before Wednesday, at 1 o'clock, before Wednesday, 1 o'clock. So I've kept the doors open. You're going to be able to join us for the rest of our lives this month. The doors will close on Wednesday at 8 p.m. But Wednesday we've got at 1 o'clock, we've got strength and vitality for everyday movement for hormonal balance. We've got Hatha yoga with Danny on Thursday. And then we've got next week, nourishing foods for perimenopause. Okay, where we're going to dive into a deep protocols and food plan and food prepping and what we're going to do. I'll take you step by step through what a day would look like for you to help you to find hormonal harmony, balance, and help you shift any excess weight that you may have put on. It's only $29 a month. It's a minimum 6-month commitment, because in that 6 months, as I said before, you want to be trying something you want to be doing these changes for at least 3 months, and then you want to be able to have some integration time. So for nothing, this is not a quick fix. It's not a quick pill to pop. It's not a 6-week program. It's a lifestyle change, and these are changes and shifts that you're going to make now that are going to serve you for the rest of your lifetime. So it's a really great investment for you. We get to spend 6 months together. You can continue and keep, we've got women in here that have been in the membership for over 12 months. So, it's really not, that's just the minimum commitment, and it will just keep rolling until you choose to opt out and jump out, which you can do after the 6 months. So I would really love to have you. I would love to support you in this way. And I'm so glad that you were here today watching us live. For those of you that came live, thank you so much, ladies. And for those of you watching the recording, please, if you've got any questions about Marigold itself or anything that we've covered today, drop me a DM. I will be more than happy to jump in and have a bit of a chat with you and put you in the right direction. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a beautiful day and namaste.